Here. Here.
Here. On to number 4. We have a recognition tonight for a National Merit Scholarship semifinalist. We have Elena Marvin and her family with us tonight, as well as Laura, I'm going to try it, Robotham? Oh, Robotham, see? Welcome to both of you. On behalf of the board, congratulations to both of you on your incredible academic achievement and your continued success. Thank you very much for being here. All right, we're going to move on to 5, our consent agenda. We have October 18th, 2021 minutes, October 18th, 2021 closed minutes, November 2021 personnel reports, October 2021 payables, and annual summer tax resolution.
I move that the Board of Education approve the consent agenda as presented.
I have a second.
Second.
Second by Brittany. Any corrections, discussion? Could I please have roll call?
Asper, yes. Barbara Garcia?
Yes.
Clement?
Yes.
Morris?
Yes.
Beatty?
Yes.
White?
Yes, motion carries. Before we go on to our reports, I just want to take a minute to allow you a few minutes to think about if you're considering a public comment. We do ask that you fill out a comment card. It does ask for your name and information on there. That is in regards to our bylaw 0167.3, which states public participation at board meetings. We ask that this be turned in prior to the start of the public comment section, and those cards will all be turned in. Who's collecting them? Oh, up in the corner right there. Thank you very much. On to 6, reports and information. We're going to go to 6B, which is finance update with Ms. DeVries.
So we're here to give you an update on our enrollment. Last month we came and it was just after our fall count, and we gave a report on that, talked about our head count, and said we would follow up the next month. So I'm back again as we do shared time programming and different programming in our district. When we recalculate full-time equivalency, or FTE, that gets to be a little bit different and adds some numbers to our count. So with that, we have those updated numbers, and our count the final was turned in this past week. So what this shows you here in the purple, that was the head count, and that's been our head count. This is the trend from fall to fall each year. The yellow portion is that shared time that gets calculated in, which then overall gives you our actual enrollment that we get funding on. So you'll see in 2020 and 2021, those were the years that COVID had impacted that. And you'll see we had slight declines each of those 2 years. You will see prior to that, though, which is why I put the trend on here, we were seeing some steady growth each year. Then with the pandemic, we have seen some losses. So I just wanted to highlight that. And so in the yellow from 2021, that 242 is that shared time, and part-time students that attend here, they equate to 242 students, and then the 4616 was from the head count. This chart shows over time the gain and loss that we've seen in students from year to year. So here you'll see too, we had some student increases from 2014 through 2017. 2018 and 19 were more flat, and then 2020, 2021, you'll see we had some decreases, 152 last year and 49 this year. So the impact of that, when we adopted the budget back in June, we were assuming in that budget that we would see about 50 students returning to us. We actually now, with the slides before, we're experiencing a decrease of 49 students. So that equates to about 1.4 million. So when we do budget amendments in January, that will be reflected in that budget amendment. So that's the fiscal impact. So I don't know if anyone had any questions.
All set, thank you. We're going to go on to 7A in our discussion items, the 2021 bond ratifying resolution. Mr. Reese?
So this is kind of the end of this second series of bonds that we issued. This is specific for our community center. So the bonds, we've had the sale, so this action of the board is actually ratifying that, and the closing is set then for this Wednesday. So it's exciting that this next phase of the bond is starting to take place, and this is specific for the community center at $24 million.
Anything additional from board members for Mr. Reese? No, thank you very much. On to 7B, which is our summer 2022 technology renovations. Mr. Hubble?
Good evening. So this is a discussion item on today's board agenda, and it went before the Finance Committee last week. And I believe that everybody's had a chance to review this document. Now it's been available for a little while. What I would say is that today, this morning, we had the public opening of the bids, and the results came in really, really well. We had a total of 12 vendors participate in the bids, and they were bidding over 6 different areas: the paging systems, UPS, wireless network, low voltage cabling, and then the WAN fiber. We had a minimum of 3 vendors in any one of those categories, and up to 8 vendors in one category. In all cases, except for the WAN fiber, the lowest bid that we received was under what we have estimated here. And if we add up all of the lowest bids, we're about $250,000 under what was estimated in this document. Now that's before, going through and validating that the bids are, acceptable, no unacceptable exceptions, and so on and so forth, that they've covered everything. But that's still, so that totals just a little over $1 million of USF eligible funds, which will equate to about $513,000 in discounts that we'll get from the federal government while doing these projects. So it's very good for us. We'll bring this back next month as an action item with actual recommendations. We'll bring it to the Finance Committee first and then to the board. So with that, I'll take any questions.
Tim?
I think, Dan, I understand we were going to be bringing this up next month, but I think the committee already has a recommendation for the proposal. So you had mentioned that we'll bring it up at the next finance committee. That's fine. But I think we already had a resolution or a support in the committee to approve this. So doesn't change anything. Just more of a note.
Okay.
Okay, any questions? Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you.
All right, we're going on to 7C, which is Neola first reading. Dr. Martin?
Yes, we have a number of policies that we had a policy committee meeting over recently, and we're bringing these up tonight for the first adoption. The list of policies are listed as Bylaws 0100, Bylaw 0167.3, and then several other policies. I'm going to quickly go through maybe some of the highlights. Some of those policies were things dealing with legal alerts as it relates to Title IX implications or implementation and enforcement, as well as, let's see, Policy 3120. This really was language to clean up and clarify any type of policy that dealt with the language highly qualified. Right now, we really use whether or not they're certified or not. So if you think of a couple presidential administrations ago, we had a lot of language put in the policy around if our employees were highly qualified. Now that language is basically changed to certification. So just cleaning up Policy 3120. Policy 5722. This is a policy regarding school-sponsored productions. This policy is not legally required, and as we look through this policy a little more thoroughly after the policy meeting, what I'm going to do is pull this policy, maybe double-check with Neola as well as our attorney, because we did get some clarity that it's not really required, and the more we thought through the implications of it, it seems like it would create some natural conflict. So I want to pull Policy 5722, and we may have to bring that back, if at all, regarding a future policy update. Policy 6114, this policy essentially deals with special federal funds. So as we think about the amount of funds that came through ESSER 1, ESSER 2, ESSER 3, revisions of this policy should be adopted in order to make sure that we have accurate policies as far as the use of these federal funds, and making sure that we do that appropriately will also be part of the auditing process every year, as it was this past year. Policy 6152, this policy will need to be updated to ensure we are in line with any new money and any increased requirements as it relates to student fines, student fees, or student supplies. Policy 7450, this was regarding property inventory. Essentially, this is regarding any inventory of that we would get with the ESSER funds. So the big note here was that the policy is identifying a federal threshold of $5,000 for differentiating between supplies and materials and for capital expenditures for equipment purchases. Policy 8310 and 8320, these were policies dealing with public record and personnel files. These policies have been revised to comply with the obligations to not disclose the address of a student or employee who provides the district with sufficient notice that they would not like to be and have their information made available. Policy 8330, again, dealing with student records. This policy will also be revised to reflect changes in the federal rules as it relates to district-issued student email addresses, and that those email addresses will be able to be provided to military recruiters as part of the directory information as requested, unless prohibited by the student or the parent requested in writing. And I believe that's all that we have. Let me see. Yes, that is all that we have. The policy committee did go through each one of these policies thoroughly, and with the exception of the one policy noted, everything else I think is ready for the first reading.
You should all have access to those. If you will take the time to review them, if you do find any questions within those or language that you need clarification on, please communicate that through Dr. Martin or myself so that we know that before the next reading. Thank you. We are going to move on to 8, which is board and superintendent reports. We have 8A as curriculum and learning committee. Jason?
The Curriculum and Learning Committee met on November 11th at 7:30 a.m. There was no public comment. Ms. Perkowski provided an overview of the district's teaching and learning model while the committee discussed details. Mrs. Perkowski will be providing a priorities overview by year through the end of the current strategic plan, so from 2019 to 2024, at the December Curriculum and Learning Committee meeting. Ms. DeVries provided an update from the Finance and Operations Committee that met on 11/10. Mr. Kingsbury provided a human resources update, specifically discussing the increase in our substitute teacher rates and the OSHA emergency temporary standards and the impact on our employee groups in the coming months. The meeting adjourned at 8:53 a.m. Question?
Any questions for that committee? All right, on to 8B, which is Finance and Operations Committee. Tim?
Thank you. The Finance and Operations Committee convened last Wednesday, November 10 at 7:31 a.m. with all 3 board members present. Mr. Hubble reviewed different technology bid packages that were paid for through the 2020 bond. The technology bid packages recommended to the board are broken down into 6 categories: low voltage cabling to be installed in the high school gym, wide area network fiber optic cabling for the new Dutton facility, district-wide electronics, wireless access points, and universal power supplies, public address systems to be installed at Paris Ridge and Kraft Intermediate. Ms. DeVries discussed the ratification of Bond Series 2 resolution and the impact of the lower student enrollment on the numbers this year. Ms. Perkowski provided an update on the Curriculum and Learning Committee agenda to our committee. Mr. Kingsbury discussed the increase in sub-teacher pay rate in order to remain competitive with neighboring districts. Additionally, the committee was introduced to the provisions of the now legally challenged OSHA emergency temporary standards and discussed the vast requirements that may be imposed upon the district. Meeting adjourned at 7:35 a.m. The next Finance and Operations Committee meeting is scheduled for Wednesday, December 8th at 7:30 a.m.
Are there any questions for that committee? All right, thank you very much. For the Policy Committee, we did meet on October 25th. Our meeting started at 7:39. The Policy Committee, we did discuss the meeting, the minutes we had from the prior Policy Committee meeting. They were adjusted before being accepted by the committee. The Policy Committee reviewed Fall 2021 update, which included revised and replacement policies as recommended by our board policy consultation firm. The full board will do a first reading of the policies November 2021. Regular board meeting and second final reading will be for for approval at the December board meeting. A trustee asked if a policy needed to be created or revised in response to a current situation. The superintendent spoke to the ongoing conversations taking place with attorneys, and at this current time, the policies in place are up to date with the laws. Anything additional for policy committee? Okay, thank you. We're going to move on to board reports. We were planning a workshop date, and based on the availability, that's become difficult to get that in. We'd still like to schedule one. I don't know if scheduling during December is going to be realistic, so I would ask that if you could get together your schedules, maybe looking even into January to see, I mean, if Kyle, if you're traveling and you know there's going to be a week that, you're going to be gone, just because we're doing it in conjunction with MASB coordinator, so, okay? Everybody good with that? All right. And then, Tim, would you like to go at this time?
Yes.
Extend the meeting?
I had the opportunity to serve the committee as a voting delegate at the Michigan Association of School Board Annual Leadership Conference held November 8 at the Amway Grand Plaza Hotel. And I just want to share some notes and some takeaways from that meeting with the board. Conference convened at about 6 p.m. and the following are notable highlights from the event. Jennifer Smith, Director of Governmental Affairs, celebrated the point that almost all districts statewide have reached a point of equal pupil funding, which today currently sits at about $8,700 per student. Ms. Smith indicated there's been progress in the state funding for districts to hire additional mental health support staff. Although the funding is on a regressive scale, covering 100% in year 1, 66% in year 2, and 33% in year 3, it is hopeful that additional legislative measures will be achieved within the near future to provide more consistent funding for the districts. At about 6:30 that evening, voting items became up for consideration. As a note, all items voted on are non-binding to local school districts, but possibly may show up later as policy items for consideration. First opportunity for motion consideration was to address continuing resolutions. There were 2 motions that were discussed by the delegates. Both motions were to set aside portions of 2 existing general resolutions, specifically modifying Resolution G.9.55, communicable diseases, endorsing language to add parents' role to the scope of the resolution, and A6.90, homeschooling, which proposed minor language modifications. Both motions on these existing policies were defeated by a voice vote. There were 26 opportunities to the next set of amended resolutions. One that received most debate time and attention was Resolution A6.65. The action surrounded an MASB proposal name change of charter schools, as it is commonly known today, to public school academies. The name change had the delegates engaged in a flurry of back and forth until a delegate questioned why such an amendment was on the floor, as it is causing confusion upon a well-known term, charter schools, in its name. It was explained that the proposed resolution amendment regarding the charter school name change was to align MASB policy with the latest state of Michigan Department of Education language, which now refers to charter schools as public school academies. One of the 2 newly adopted resolutions, G3.80, strategic plan, goals, and accountability. This was a new resolution, not continuing or not modified. The policy seeks to keep required local school districts' policies and goals in alignment with the Michigan Department of Education goals and policies. And the rationale states, I'll read it from this document, the Michigan Board of Education and the Michigan Department of Education have developed and approved a strategic education plan and goals for the state of Michigan. For the state's plan to be successful, local boards of education should also create district plans and goals in alignment with the state. to me, it felt like this was a bit of a undermining of the local districts. I don't know if that's the intent, but it felt that way to me. The most impressionable moment of that evening was when I seen, towards the end of the evening, as things were wrapping up, it hit me that we were not represented very thoroughly from West Michigan, and I suggest the board consider investigating how the district might become consistently and more regularly involved with this organization. And the meeting adjourned at 8:13, and I'll be happy to try to answer any questions.
Any questions? No? Thank you very much, and thank you for putting the time into that.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Tim.
Yeah, thanks, Tim.
Superintendent report.
Yes, have a number of things just wanted to share that I included in the recent memo to the Board of Education. One is sub-teacher shortage. I shared an article that was going around at the state level just talking about the challenges that school districts across the state are seeing and highlighting how MDE and the state are noticing some of these challenges and trying to make some changes in terms of who is eligible to be a sub so that they can increase the pipeline. A lot of, some of that I'm aware of is making it easier for retirees or people who had a certification who may have let it lapse to decide to either A, come back into the teaching profession or B, get into subbing. Also, we had a couple of, I think 2 of our 5 dialogue with doc sessions earlier last week. We had a good handful of people in attendance for each of those sessions. We are developing a set of frequently asked questions whenever we hear similar questions or themes coming up that we will probably be putting out later this week, and we have a couple 3 more dialogue sessions coming up. Those dates, times, and locations are posted on our website. Early childhood enrollment for the 22-23 preschool opportunities will be opening up in January for families, as well as February for new families. So we'll be sending out some communication as we get a little closer to that date. Also happy to report that we have a new structure for the children called Alice Playhouse, which was recently dedicated to the early childhood playground in memory of a former student who passed away unexpectedly over the holiday break in 2019. Also like to congratulate all of our fall student athletes in the various sports who were participating late in the playoff round. And in particular, special shout out to our cross-country team. This is the 2nd year in a row that the boys team finished as the state runner-up. So it was nice to see our kids do so well once again, developing into a powerhouse with cross-country, as well as some of the other sports that did so well this fall. We also sent out some communication and shared some information that was provided by the Kent County Health Department and a letter to our families last week, essentially letting families know that vaccinations have been approved for children age 5 through 11. Consistent with our summer communication, we encourage anyone and everyone to get a vaccination if they feel comfortable with it, something they need to consult their doctor with. And based on the health order, the way it was written, that once the vaccine became available, the health order would expire with 60 days after the date of availability. So students are not required to get a vaccination. All students after January 3rd will not be required to wear a mask, but they are welcome to. It will be the choice of the parents at that point. So we sent out some communication just to clarify that, and we'll continue to work with the county health department as things continue to unfold. Also, kind of a just an interesting one. I don't even know how to explain it, but I've been getting questions regarding kids wearing animal outfits and something about us doing something with our staff. So I checked with our high school administration 3 different times, and we're kind of clueless on where this information is coming from, but it seemed to have caused some community stir, I guess, as people are in belief of students wearing animal outfits and maybe a teacher saying something inappropriate, but all I can say is we have no clue what it's about. So I checked 3 different times, including today. Our high school administration is not aware of anything, but they will continue to pay close attention. And that's all that I have. Oh, also, I sent a shout out to the cross-country team. Thank you for reminding. Also, the equestrian team. They have won their 2nd state championship, so that's 2 in a row, back-to-back. So last year we got a chance to post a banner in the gym. Nice, crisp, brand-new banner with plenty of space to add more championship dates up there, so it looked like we'll have to update that as well. So congratulations to our student athletes during the fall session.
At this time, we're going to move forward to 9, which is our public comment section. If you do not, or if you have not turned in your card at this time, if you could please get that turned in. You do have 3 minutes to speak, and please make sure all comments are directed to the board, not individual board members. This should not be a time to address personnel issues or single anybody out for any reason. We just ask that you do this in a respectful way, and we appreciate your community involvement. So thank you. I'm going to list the first 3 names to go, just to keep it moving. Our first speaker will be Melissa Van Gessel, followed by Dwayne, and then Betsy.
Good evening. I'm here to give our monthly CEA report. First up is Mr. Wanless. He is our physical education teacher at Emmons Lake. He has started a marble race challenge school-wide for his program. Each gym class, the kids can earn marbles. They can earn marbles for having proper gym attire, effort, participation, following gym rules, listening, and bucket filling. At the end of the month, the class with the most marbles that wins that month's challenge. The winners get a small trophy for their classroom, a certificate, a piece of candy, and a free choice day in gym. And their class gets announced during morning announcements by Mrs. Schultz. Finally, they get their class picture up on the wall of fame in the gym, and that picture stays up all year. Amy Coupler, Dutton's reading and behavior specialist, will be taking about 10 minutes with each of her intervention groups to work on making 2 little gifts to recognize the staff at Dutton, as well as students' families. The 8th grade American history class at Duncan Lake Middle School are using their awesome TCI History Alive curriculum to engage students in hands-on activities such as Patriot versus Loyalist town hall meetings, creating law firms which debate historical Supreme Court cases related to schools and teens, participating in a political rally between Federalists and Republicans, complete with political buttons, banners, and musical performances. Each activity is aligned with the state of Michigan grade level content expectations and corresponding common assessment with the claim, evidence, and writing portion. Thinking maps and thinking routines are used as supplemental instructional tools to enhance the experience students have with these activities. And finally, the Creating Authentic Learners class at Duncan Lake Middle School is using the Capturing Kids' Hearts teen leadership curriculum with students to work through 5 main ideas related to developing authentic leadership. In such, they view TED Talks, participate in team building exercises, develop and perform attitude skits, participate in PBIS-related school project and video productions, share sentimental objects with the class, write affirmations for each other, and engage in various forms of self-reflection. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Next is Dwayne, then Betsy, and that will be followed by Angela.
Hi, my name is Dwayne. I'm an American citizen. I was here a few months back, and I think you guys have got to make sure your policies tighten up a little bit. Nobody here is required to give their full name or address, although it is indicated in your policies. I heard you read changes to some of the policies coming, your first reading. I haven't had a chance to see those, but I believe you need to change the address requirement. As you guys know, 2 months ago we had a meeting here. First of all, I was called out and said I didn't belong here, so people need to realize any American citizen can come talk to any open meeting. I want to make that clear. If somebody here thinks I don't belong here because I'm from another school district, let me know right now. I want to hear it. Thank you. So, addresses are not required. Full names are not required. We cannot do that. We've had people that have gotten doxxed, they've got hate mail, they've gotten stuff on Facebook. You guys wouldn't want that. The public doesn't want that. I'm requesting that you remove that from your policy. There should be no names and addresses. If people are coming here and asking you for, questions, asking for answers, they can give you that information. I've done that privately with you, ma'am. I have shared with you my emails. We've had email conversations back and forth. This board knows who I am. So if someone needs an answer, they can give it to you in private. They do not have to list it openly to the public. Secondly, I'd like the people here to know that tonight is a closed meeting. The first one we mentioned is going to be for the discipline of somebody in this school district. We don't know what it is about, but I believe people should stick around till after the closed session when the board comes back to vote on whatever it is they discussed in closed session. They have to vote on it in open session, so they will come back into an open session. Now, we tried this about 2 months ago. They made us wait around for an hour and a half in their closed session. They came out and immediately adjourned. So they might pull that on us again tonight, but I'll be waiting around to find out. Thirdly, the second item they're going to be speaking about in closed session, stated by the superintendent, is something regarding safety or a threat to the students in this school. My recommendation to the parents in this school, better find out what it is they're talking about. If there's an imminent threat to your child, I would think you'd want to know what that imminent threat is. I don't believe COVID is an imminent threat at this point any longer. We've been talking about it for 20 plus months. If it's a COVID-related issue to this board, ma'am, I am asking that that be discussed in open public meetings. There's nothing private or secret about COVID anymore. We've all been schooled on everything there is COVID for 20 months. If you're going to use that excuse for a closed meeting, it's wrong. I think it should be challenged. I hope someone does challenge that. So we need to know what those two items are. What are the imminent threats to our children, and who's being disciplined?
Thank you. We have Betsy, Angela, and, sorry, hold on, Amy.
So I'm getting tired of coming here every month after month, and I'm sure you're really tired of hearing me talk to you guys. I'm sure half of you don't even like me, and I'm okay with that. But I know there's CRT in our school, and we keep getting gaslighted that there isn't. I've come up here month after month to show it. And all I'm asking you to just be honest. You call it DEI, we call it social emotional learning. I'm asking our school board to come out and make an open comment to say, yes, we do actually have this stuff in our school. I'm for diversity. I've asked to have true history, true diversity taught in our school, and it gets shut down. Like there's no such thing. We need to learn the good, the bad, and the ugly of what happened with our history, but what we're learning now is oppression. I've gone through all my son's school books, and it's full of oppression. That's not right. What's going to happen is our kids are going to be pit against each other. So I'm just asking, come out and say, hey, this is what we're doing. If us parents don't want it, we can leave. I'm looking for a new school that should make you all very happy. I don't want my kid in Caledonia, and I came here. I was so happy and excited to come from Kentwood to here. I don't want my kid in the school. I have a 4-year-old that will never go to Caledonia schools. She's at home with me because I won't mask her, and I don't want her to be indoctrinated because this is a Marxist indoctrination. And it's really, really sad that every day my 4-year-old is home with me and I get to teach her when she should be having fun with children. So just be honest and open and say, hey, this is what we're teaching. Stop hiding it. I was also informed that our superintendent does not want parent involvement in the classroom. That's really troubling to me. That was said at one of the 7:30 meetings. We have people that were there. We know it was said. I want to know everything that my son is learning. I sit down with him every day when he comes home from school. Hey, what'd you learn today? We go over every class because usually it's, oh, I had gym today. Well, Walk, I don't want to know what you learned in gym. I want to know what you learned. Go through everything. So parent involvement should be number one. We shouldn't be pushed to the side. They don't have textbooks. We can't go through them. I requested them from their school, and I got them. I was very, very troubled by everything. And not only that, my son's math that he's doing right now, I have a friend in Granville. He's 2 years behind him. So we say we have excellent standards with our school. I'm telling you, talk to different school districts. We do not. Our kids are not getting the education that they should. Because of what? Funding. It's funding. You sold our kids out, and it's really sad. So just be open and honest with us.
Thank you. Next is Angela, then Amy, and then Sarah.
Hi, good evening. My name is Angela Regas, and I've spoke here several times, and I am alarmed by the goings-on at our high school from the groups of people who claim to be animals, which it is happening, to the females using the men's bathroom because they are identifying as boys. That makes my sons very uncomfortable. And as we stand for those who want to identify as other things than humans, what alarms me is who is standing for my sons. The straight white kids. Because I'm sorry, but sexual preference and these sort of things have no business in our public education system. It's about being human and being equal, which we are all equal. We know this as a fact. And with the things that we have in our schools right now, it is dividing our children against each other. My children accept everyone for who they are. However, the toxic environment that's growing in our high school is very concerning. My son should be able to go to the bathroom without fear of a female being in there, looking at him or judging him, and vice versa. I believe that there are unisex bathrooms, single-stall bathrooms, and I would recommend that any child that would not want to use the gender-appropriate restroom to use the unisex restroom. Because as we fight so hard, or as they fight so hard to be included in every aspect of life, it really puts other kids at a disadvantage, and I don't appreciate it. The school should be a safe environment for all children. And when we continue to divide our children on sexual preference or general preference or gender preference, or if they think they're a dog or a cat or a bunny rabbit, I don't even care, because everyone's a human being, and everyone should be comfortable. And again, I don't appreciate my son being uncomfortable while going to the bathroom. Your job is to teach reading, writing, and arithmetic and true history. Now, I'm a conservative, and I make no apologies for my conservative principles and views. However, I'm also not demanding that my children be indoctrinated with those principles at school either. I'm asking that my children go and receive a straight down the center education. It's my job to teach my kid their principles, not yours. It's my job to teach my children what's appropriate with their feelings and how to deal with certain things, not this social, emotional learning garbage that we're seeing in school. So that is all. Thank you.
Thank you. Next we have Amy, Sarah, and then Elizabeth.
So, I'm Amy. I just heard that we were encouraging the children to get the shot. I don't know why we would want to encourage anyone to get anything like that. I gave you guys a bunch of information, whomever was here last board meeting, in regards to the risks and dangers of what this could do to the children. when I just heard that it was being encouraged, that really just bothered me. It's an mRNA DNA altering shot, and there is risk of injury and death. It just really, really bothers me. I also am wondering why we are going to require the teachers to submit their copy of their vaccination card by the 6th of December due to the OSHA requirement, when that was actually through the U.S. Court of Appeals for the Fifth Circuit granted a motion to stay OSHA's COVID vaccination and testing emergency temporary standard published on November 5th, 2021. The court ordered that OSHA take no steps to implement or enforce the ETS until further court order. While OSHA remains confident in its authority to protect workers in emergencies, OSHA has suspended activities related to the implementation and enforcement of the ETS pending future developments in the litigation. So that's straight up on the OSHA website, so maybe that needs to be looked at. Thank you.
Thank you. We have Sarah, Elizabeth, and then Jim.
Hi, my name is Sarah. I had 3 children at the high school, 3 ninth graders. We moved to Caledonia 2017. We came from Lowell, which was surprisingly worse than Caledonia, but Caledonia's getting there. Last month, I removed my kids from Caledonia schools. I'm homeschooling them, and for the last month, I have seen my kids smile every day. They haven't been fighting, even though they're home all the time with me. They're happy. You guys want to know why people are not enrolling their kids? Why you have teacher shortages? It's because you worry more about what you put on the outside of the school than what's going on the inside of the school. You guys have posters up in the high school, stickers on every computer about LGBTQ safe zones. What about safe zones for kids with disabilities? What about safe zones for the straight kids? I have a daughter that is part of the LGBTQ community, so it's not a gay hate thing. My son, I had to remove him a week before my other 2 because he was getting harassed and bullied by LGBTQ kids because he didn't call somebody by their correct name or their correct pronoun. He got kicked in the groin in class. Nothing got done. I reported it to the principal, the assistant principal, the dean of students, and even Officer Fredericks, and still nothing got done. My son was sent back to class to work with this kid after being hit repeatedly, kicked in the groin, called names. This is not the type of school that you want for your kids. If at all possible, remove your kids from Caledonia schools because this is toxic and it's a dangerous place for the kids to be. I worry about the kids that are left there. I know that a kid brought a knife or not a knife, scissors, on the bus and threatened a girl, which happened to be one of the LGBTQ kids that was bullying my kid. That was reported and nothing was done. I also reported a gun being brought to a football game, and the dean of students told me, oh, with the thousands of people that were there, we kept it safe. We are not worried about it. How about you worry about the safety of our children and stop worrying about what furniture you have in the hallways?
Thank you. Elizabeth, and then Jim.
I'm Elizabeth. Just a quick side note, something was mentioned about substitute teachers. I used to be a substitute teacher. I no longer am because pay just isn't competitive. So don't tell me it's requirements, it's not. There are lots of people out there who would sub. But if I can go to another place and choose my own hours and get paid $5 more an hour, not because it's a skilled job, But just because the labor market is the way it is, you guys gotta up your game too. There's other people out there who are offering so much more. If you actually want people to sub, you need to be competitive, and your pay is not. Completely different issue is going with the reference to the current health order and how it will be done 60 days after the vaccine came out. I think most of us in this room, believe that about as far as I can throw it. There is a clause in there that says something along the lines of, or until the health director deems it safe, if you read the actual order. So it's still going to be up to him. And the whole issue that I'm going to bring up tonight is the issue of the policy you guys have. We all know that the health director is not an elected official. And the policy that the school has currently is that they must follow state and local health ordinances, which in the past has not been an issue until we got to now. Now is different. And you were talking about amending lots of different policies tonight. I don't see why there could not be an amendment to that policy that states something similar to that you'll follow state and local mandates required by elected officials unless it is likely to be illegal and or unconstitutional based on legal advice. Based on, an elected official could make a vaccine mandate, and you could look at the rulings that are being handed down by federal courts and easily see that it is likely unconstitutional, and therefore if you had amended your policy as a board, be able to go, okay, we're going to take a vote on this because we have left ourselves an out because it seems like it's illegal or it seems like it's unconstitutional. Or say an unelected official, like Adam London comes down and gives a mandate, and you go, well, we're not sure we want to do that, but in our clause it says that we only have to obey elected officials' mandates, and he's not. You could still vote to go along with that mandate. You still could bring it up amongst yourselves and decide to do that. But if it's not by an elected official, at least you give yourself a legal out to do that, because that's what we're asking. The vax mandate's coming, we know it's going to, and you guys need to be prepared, not be caught on your heels again.
Thank you. Jim?
Hello, my name is Jim, and thank you for having me this evening. I wanted to just quick discuss some of the things that are on the current VARS website in regards to vaccination status, what the current numbers are compared to all vaccination events combined in total recorded history. As it currently sits, as of September 24th, 2021, the number of adverse reactions for COVID-19 vaccine is 752,803. That is compared to all other vaccines compared at all times ever taken, 823,547. So what I'm trying to say is in less than 11 months, we've almost exceeded our total combined number of adverse events. Number of life-threatening events, COVID, 16,874. Everybody else, 13,628. Number of hospitalizations, 71,036. Compared to the rest, 78,552. Number of deaths, COVID, 15,937. All the others, 9,141. Close to double for all those taking note. Number of permanent disabilities after vaccination, 22,342 of COVID, compared to all the others, 19,622. Number of office visits, 117,837, compared to the rest, 43,428. Number of ER visits, 85,321, compared to 209,847. Hey, there's a plus. Number of birth defects after vaccination, 504 for COVID, compared to all the rest, 141. Those are just the numbers. Children, you can check the CDC website board. Children, there are approximately 72 million children under the age of 18 in the United States. Give or take, a little over 400 of them have passed away, tragically. But 400 out of 72 million since the beginning of the pandemic. If you refer to some doctors in Johns Hopkins, they would say approximately 20 of those 400 were healthy. So we don't have a problem. Children are not affected. They haven't been affected since the beginning of this. All the numbers out of Sweden showed that from the beginning. It's still the case. This doesn't affect young children. I hope and pray that you consider this as we move forward, because I unfortunately don't believe in the federal government and the way that they're going about things. Thank you.
Thank you. We're going to now move to 10 action items. 10A is the 2021 bond ratifying resolution.
I move the board approve the resolution ratifying the sale of the 2021 school building and site bond series 2.
I have a second. Second by Kyle. Any further comments on that? Can we have roll call, please?
Asper, yes. Barbara Garcia,
Yes.
Clement,
Yes.
Morris,
Yes.
Sadie,
Yes.
White.
Yes. Motion carries. On to 10B, Neola, first reading.
See, I'll let you do that other one, Tim, so I'll do this one. I move that the board conduct a first reading of the following Neola policies: 0100, 0167.3, 3120, 6114, 6152, 7450, 8310, 8320, and 8330.
Can I have a second? Second? Second by Brittany. And again, if you find anything in those, any further questions or clarification needed, please get those in. Can we have roll call on that, please?
Asper, yes. Barbara Garcia,
Yes.
Clement,
Yes.
Morris,
Yes.
Sadie,
Yes.
White.
Yes. Motion carries. At this time, we're going to take about a 5-minute recess, and then we'll be going into closed session.
We need a motion first. We need a motion first.
Yeah, we'll have our 5-minute recess, because we don't do it until we go into closed session. Make a motion.
Yeah.
Okay, if we're not going to take a recess, then we'll just go ahead and make our motion now to go into closed session. That's fine. I just need a motion.
I move that the board convene in closed session under the Open Meeting Act to consider attorney-written opinion under OMA 15.268, paragraph 8H, staff safety and security, OMA 15.268, paragraph 8K, evaluation at the request of the superintendent, OMA 15.268, paragraph 8A.
Second?
I support.
Second by Tim. May I have roll call, please?
Asper, yes. Barbara Garcia,
Yes.
Clement,
Yes.
Morris,
Yes.
Sadie,
Yes.
White.
Yes. Motion carries. Thank you. There will be no break then. Go straight to or closed session. I'm sorry. Thank you. All right, we're coming out of closed session. There will be no action taken. You okay with time? You got it? It's all right. I just need a motion to adjourn. Kyle? Second? Second, Jason? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? No? All right, thank you.
This is why your community does not like what you guys do. Because you took action in that room for an hour and a half. I hope you feel good to sleep well. And vote on it in front of the public. Sleep good tonight. You guys deserve the right to know what you're discussing in private. Respect. And you wonder why you get bitched at by that. This is why. Every one of you.
Should be ashamed. So cool. Impressive. They got so much power. Power is incredible.
It was pretty much anticipated you know how to behave.
It's all about power, isn't it?
Keep it up, it's real funny.
There's voting coming up.
It's all about power.
Every one of you. Even one that says he's with us. Don't believe him. Not one. Shake your head. You know what I'm talking about. You ain't got the balls to stand up and do what's right.
Did you videotape that?
No, I don't waste my film on them anymore.